Talk About It Media 21. We talk hot topics, trending topics, what's going on in the news, what's being talked about. Let's talk about definitely what happened last night. Thanks for being here. Thanks for subscribing. Like the videos you guys come in. Like the videos you guys come in. Just give me a second. I'm going to go ahead and do my disclaimer. As people are coming in, they don't really understand what I'm doing. But allow me a few seconds to do my disclaimer. We're going to talk Trump, State of the Union, what's trending. We're just going to do some general stuff here. Let me go ahead and do my disclaimer. All comments are allegedly, period. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships and research. Fair use is used permitted by that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged in our opinion and for entertainment purposes only. Thanks for being here, everyone. Thanks for being here. Okay. Like the videos you guys come in. Like the videos you guys come in. I appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Please. Subscribe and like the video. I'm going to play this clip as I finish things on this side.
These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy. Amazing. Incredible. Boy, oh boy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we? Huh? Nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy. Amazing. Incredible. Boy, oh boy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we? Huh? Nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy.
I think somebody shouted out Epstein files. I think that's what I heard. Like the videos you guys come in.
Accurate. We're going to fact check multiple parts of the speech tonight. I just finished watching Donald Trump's State of the Union address so that you don't have to. Let's talk about what he said, and let's talk about whether or not he's fully accurate. We're going to fact check multiple parts of the speech tonight. Something that I don't want to do, though, is just show you clips of his speech, because if you wanted to see his speech, you would have watched it yourself. So we're going to run through a number of takes. Donald Trump said it's going to be a majority of me talking and a majority of you listening. It's going to be a little different than what we normally do. So Donald Trump began his speech. Even before he walked in, everyone was watching who he was going to take his hands with, right? Because the Supreme Court justices that just overturned Trump's tariffs, there are 4 of them in the chamber: Justice Roberts, Justice Barrett, Justice Kagan, and Justice Kavanaugh. 3 of the 4 voted to overturn Trump's tariff. He shook hands with all 4 of them, despite calling out Barrett particularly earlier this week, saying that her family should be ashamed of her. Now, meanwhile, the first protest happened immediately, almost upon entering, and that is from Congressman Al Green, who held up this sign as Donald Trump walked into the address: "Black people aren't apes." The sign is in reference to the racist Obama video depicting Barack and Michelle Obama that the president of the United States posted on his Truth Social accounts. And, well, as Al Green says, black people aren't apes. Black people aren't apes. And, well, when Al Green tried to put this up to the president in his face, it was quickly torn down by a Republican colleague. Take a look. That's Congressman Steve Scalise, a leader in the Republican House of Representatives, who quickly tried to take down Al Green's banner. Before I continue, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. The more you like, the more people see this, and we're going to fact check a lot of this speech, so please make sure to do that. Subscribe to my Substack with the link below.
Good morning.
As well. I'm feeling a little better from the flu, but we're going to put this out and get some rest. So Donald Trump eventually got into his speech and started talking about the U.S. men's hockey team.
Did you say, hey, they are? They're not. Are you sick in the mind? Have you lost your mind? You should not be calling somebody something disrespectful. Can you not tell what culture or race I am? Be respectful in the comments. It tells you that before you even come in. Be respectful. You would not want anybody disrespecting your race or culture. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Report that behind. Goodbye. Never come back. Never. Like the videos you guys come in. Do not disrespect any culture or race. Be supportive or go somewhere else and do your page.
It was a bit of an odd exchange where he talked about how the United States of America was, quote, winning so much that we're winning, 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 and proceeded to award the highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, to one Team USA hockey player, Connor Hellebuyck. Notably, the women's USA hockey team was not present at the State of the Union address. They rejected Donald Trump's invitation to join, although he did claim that they would soon be going to the White House. Now, Trump went on to claim that in just 1 year, his administration has lifted 2.4 million Americans, a record, as he claimed, off of food stamps. But the fact of the matter is that when he says lifted Americans off of food stamps, the reality is the Republican Party and his administration actually kicked a number of people off of food stamps, off of SNAP benefits. The president went on to say that the same people in the chamber who voted for, quote, disaster suddenly used the word affordability, a word that they just used. Somebody gave it to them. He's referring to Democrats. He then pointed to Democrats and said, you caused that problem. We were doing really well. Prices were plummeting downward. The price of eggs is down 60%, talking about affordability. He then tried to claim gas is below $2.30 in most states. But according to AAA data, there is no state with an average price below $2.30 a gallon. And the lowest average price per gallon in any state is in Oklahoma at $2.37 a gallon. So Trump's claims on affordability actually didn't resonate with overall Americans, because ultimately what Trump is saying is that the country is more affordable, but a lot of Americans aren't actually feeling it. Then Trump went on to say that he inherited inflation at, quote, record levels. But despite his claim, inflation was at 3% the month he returned to office. It hit a 40-year high in June of 2022 in the middle of the Biden administration at 9.1%, but then fell steadily. It has since fallen from 3% to about 2.4% in his first year in office. Trump then pivoted to the United States Supreme Court and suggested that his administration will move forward with tariffs regardless of whether or not the court essentially allowed them. He said that it was an unfortunate decision, directly attacking the justices to their face practically, saying, quote, I believe the tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern day system of income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love, saying that his tariffs will essentially do away with income tax in the United States of America. He then called out Democrats for voting against massive tax cuts for the wealthy, at which point they cheered because it is an unfavorable policy for his administration, an unfavorable policy for the president, and a favorable one for the Democrats in terms of voting against tax cuts for the wealthy. He then joked about how this should be his third term in office, but, quote, strange things happened, at which point he moved on to call for Congress to pass a rule banning insider trading for members of Congress, and specifically called out Nancy Pelosi about whether or not she stood up. She did stand up. Every member of Congress stood up to pass legislation to ban insider trading for members of Congress. It was a bipartisan moment in the speech. He then moved on to Somalia and Minnesota and went on a racist tangent where he said, quote, the Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where corruption and lawlessness are the norm. He then announced that Vice President J.D. Vance would lead a, quote, war on fraud, saying that there were $19 billion worth of fraud in the United States of America. But Trump's $19 billion figure for fraud by Somali residents of Minnesota is completely unproven. In December, a federal prosecutor estimated about $9 billion or more in fraud by billing 14 Medicaid states. $9 billion, not $19 billion. The number is completely off. And at that point, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who is from Somalia and has been the target of Donald Trump's racist attacks, stood up and heckled him. Take a listen.
That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country. They're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Experience a new benchmark of luxury in the 2020.
Like the video, like the video. There is about 180 people in the building. Please hit the subscribe button. There's about 180 people in the building, 164. Please hit the subscribe button. Good morning, everyone. Please hit the subscribe button. Please also like the video. The likes should match the views. All you have to do is double tap the screen to get the likes up. If you're watching from a tablet or a phone, press 1. If you're watching from a tablet or a phone, press 1. If you're watching from a television, press 3. Let me know how you're watching. But it makes it easy. All you have to do is double tap. Yes, double tap to get the likes up. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thanks for being here. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
If you could hear her, she was yelling back at Trump saying, "You have killed many Americans," in reference to his comments suggesting that the Somali people of Minnesota are such horrible people. She fought back. Then Donald Trump turned to the elections. He promoted the SAVE Act, urging Congress to pass the SAVE Act. On Democrats, he said, quote, "The only way they can get elected is to cheat, and we're going to stop it. We're going to stop it." But folks, Democrats are legitimately elected in the United States, just
Good
our
morning.
Republicans
Good morning.
are legitimately elected in the United States. A completely flat out lie. Again, his claim that Democrats can only win through cheating or that mail-in ballots are not crooked, also a lie. They are ballots. Mail-in ballots are ballots. A minuscule percentage of mail votes involved fraud. There's no basis to categorically disparage them, as Donald Trump has tried to do repeatedly over the past many years. He then moved on to foreign policy, once again claiming that he ended 8 wars, but that there are a lot of issues with that claim. As we know, a diplomatic dispute between Egypt and Ethiopia, it's not a war. A mystery situation between Serbia and Kosovo, not a war. The war in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo that has not ended despite a Trump administration brokered peace agreement was never actually signed by the rebel group leading the fighting. So Trump didn't actually end all these wars that he is claiming to have ended at the time. And so that's kind of the speech. I mean, it was more or less kind of boring. That's the best way I could describe it. It was a lot of Donald Trump's campaign speech, a lot of what we've heard in his lengthy cabinet meetings, a lot of what we've heard on the campaign trail. Wasn't really anything new. He announced some policies, sure, but it wasn't anything new. That's it. Did this speech do a lot to help him? No. Did it do a lot to hurt him? I don't know the answer to that. I think overall it was a lukewarm kind of mid-speech overall. I'll keep covering it for you. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you soon for more.
Like the video, fair use reaction clip. Let's continue with the news. Thanks for being here, everyone. I appreciate it. Please hit the subscribe button. We're trying to hit 50K. We're trying to hit 50K. So if you subscribe, that'll be great. If you continue to hit the like button, that lets everyone know we're live. Let's continue.
It is midnight now on the East Coast. You're alive. We have all just outlasted the longest State of the Union in history. It didn't kill us. We did it. We're alive. We're sentient. Nobody can take that away from you. It itself is an accomplishment. Despite talking for more than an hour and 47 minutes, the longest State of the Union address ever in U.S. history, and by far, President Donald Trump offered very little in the way of policy. If you were like me, you might have even missed what was maybe the main thing he offered. Thankfully, Lawrence O'Donnell was able to get in there and dig it out of the speech and then succinctly nut it up as trading in the income tax for tariffs, LOL. This was not a State of the Union that will be remembered for presidential proposals. In addition to the weird sort of digressions and no policy, it may be remembered just for his awkward verbal cul-de-sacs, like this one about his dad.
Think of it, in recorded history, the lowest number in over 125 years, year 1900. In fact, substantially before my wonderful father, I had a wonderful father, Fred, before he was born, substantially before he was born. That's a long time ago. He wouldn't like me to say that, but that's a long time ago.
So there was stuff like that. The president also shouting a lot through a lot of his speech, a number of times in ways that stretched the capacity of his microphone to handle it. There were many also long, sort of gruesome descriptions of violent deaths and injuries, which he seemed to relish describing in detail with a lot of ad-libbing. There were also his repeated attacks on Democratic lawmakers in the chamber, screaming at one point loudly that they were crazy.
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities.
Tonight's address may ultimately be remembered for the indelible image of Democratic Congressman Al Green silently holding up a sign in the House chamber that said, "Black people aren't apes." A reference to Trump posting a video recently on social media depicting former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama as apes. That said, perhaps in the long run, tonight will be remembered for the Democratic response. Responses to State of the Union addresses are very difficult, notoriously. But tonight's from Abigail Spanberger was very good, and thus far at least seems to have been very well received. a punchy, clear, effective speech from the new moderate Democratic governor of Virginia, Abigail Spanberger. She essentially kicked off her party's midterm election pitch by taking aim, among other things, at Trump's violent immigration raids, his chaotic economic policies, and, bluntly, his corruption.
Who benefits from his rhetoric, his policies, his actions, the short list of laws he's pushed through this Republican Congress? Somebody must be benefiting. He's enriching himself, his family, his friends. The scale of the corruption is unprecedented. There's the cover-up of the Epstein files, the crypto scams, cozying up to foreign princes for airplanes and billionaires for ballrooms, putting his name and face on buildings all over our nation's capital. This is not what our founders envisioned, not by a long shot.
From the Democratic response, again, by Governor Abigail Spanberger of Virginia. A couple of our new colleagues have joined us tonight, and it's going to be a long night still. Claire McCaskill's here, Eugene Daniels. Claire, what was your reaction to what you saw tonight?
You know, I was thinking about, first of all, there were a lot of Democrats that weren't there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but you'll remember this, Lawrence, that the ambassadors usually sit in folding chairs in the aisle because there's not room for them in the chairs. I noticed some of the ambassadors very excited because they were sitting where normally senators sit. You know, they were all like, my God, we got real chairs on the floor. Nobody's here. I noticed no one was there. I noticed that it felt like a game show more than a presidential
or an award
speech.
show.
Yeah,
Yes,
like I was thinking he's going to say, now look under your chair. You know, there's something for you there. And it would not instill confidence in anybody watching this, that this was the guy that we want in charge, deciding whether or not we're going to bomb Iran and go into war in the most dangerous neighborhood in the world, especially the Republicans. You know, you would think at this point they would want him to give a speech that would lead them out of the thicket. Instead, they're going, hey, we're going to follow you right in there. Let's go deeper in the woods and see how deep we can go in there and never come out again politically. It was fascinating to me. And then finally, the thing that struck me were the smirks of Vance and Johnson sitting behind him. Like they thought it was kind of a joke. You know, they were always, and he's clever or he's funny. And it was, if I were somebody that wasn't as involved as I am and as engaged as I am in this, it would have struck me that they were smirking the whole time, like this was something not to be taken seriously. And it didn't feel like America should take it seriously. I don't think this speech is going to do anything for him. And I think it's very forgettable and will be forgotten very, very quickly.
I think it's interesting about Johnson and Vance. I don't put much stock in kind of body language stuff or whatever, but particularly those two Republican leaders have kind of resting smirk face. Like they both just kind of have that look, which it's an accident that it's the two of them behind the panel, but both of them kind of have the arms folded smirk as a resting look. And so particularly striking that they never got out of that pose for this whole speech tonight. Eugene?
You know, I have been texting with some Republicans who were sitting in that room. And before the speech, I asked them, I said, what do you want the president to do? And they said, well, we want him to do what he's going to do, very different. What we would like him to do, what we would like him to do is to help the American people understand why we should keep the gavel come November. And in no way, shape, or form did he do that, right? And they said that. They're very clear about that. They always say these things in text messages to us, and they never say that in front of cameras. But that is what they said. And I think at the end of the day, this could have been a time in a different presidency where the president would stand up there and say, look, I know you guys aren't feeling what we've been doing. We're going to keep working on it. At the end of the day, we hear you. We're going to fight for you. And we are turning it around. And that is not what you heard at all. Instead, you heard President Trump over and over and over again say mission accomplished. And the American people who are going to go to the grocery store tomorrow will know that the mission was not accomplished on the economy. They don't feel safer with ICE in their streets. And they don't feel safer with the president of the United States talking and fumbling around with what he might do with Iran. And these Republicans that are sitting in that space are thinking the same exact thing.
Yeah, can we just on the Iran thing, I think this is actually important. You know, we have.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. If you're watching from a phone, press 1. A phone or a tablet, press 1. All you have to do is double tap the screen to get the likes up. Some people have to hit the X button, then you'll see the like button. Let's get the likes up. The likes should match the views. Thanks for being here. Good morning, everyone. Let me know in the comments, did you watch the State of the Union address yesterday? Let me know in the comments. Yes, you watched. No, you did not. Let me know in the comments. Yes, if you're watching from a tablet or a phone, get the likes up. Thank you.
Not put this many assets into that region since Iraq.
No.
Right? You know, if you go back and you look at 2003, there was a multi-month campaign, right, leading up to the war. Like attempts at persuasion and propaganda and intimidation, all those things. He spent 2 paragraphs on it?
I will play this just because people are just not coming in.
These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy. Amazing, incredible. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we? Huh? Nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy.
Let's go. Let's go to the next clip.
Nobody stands up. Are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy. Amazing. Incredible. Boy, oh boy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we? Huh? Nobody stands up. These people are crazy.
Next clip.
So tonight I'm inviting every legislature to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
Like the video, like the video.
So tonight I'm inviting every legislature to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
Next clip. Like the video as you come in. Like the video as you come in. Next clip. They still clapping.
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Next clip.
And perhaps most importantly, I'm asking you to approve the Save America Act.
Thank you for the gifted. Thank you for the gifted. Oh, I remember. Only hope is prayer. I remember you. Thanks for the gifted. I appreciate you.
Save America Act.
I'm going to replay that again. Good morning. Good morning.
And perhaps most importantly, I'm asking you to approve the Save America Act. And perhaps most importantly, I'm asking you to approve the Save America Act.
Next clip.
Decades before I came along, we had the exact opposite. From trade to healthcare, from energy to immigration, everything was stolen and rigged in order to drain the wealth out of the productive, hardworking people who make our country great.
You said it keeps unsubscribing you. Sometimes that happens with people. All you have to do is just make sure when you log on to the video that you're subscribed. I used to hear people say that for the last 1 or 2 years. So yeah, just make sure you're subscribed. My page has done extremely well. I've had like 12, 13 months ago, I only had 3,000 to 4,000 subscribers. Now we're trying to hit 50K. So if it unsubscribes you, just subscribe again. Thanks for being here. Let's continue. Thank you for telling me.
We had the exact opposite. From trade to healthcare, from energy to immigration, everything was stolen and rigged in order to drain the wealth out of the productive, hardworking people who make our country great, who make our country run. Under Biden and his corrupt partners in Congress and beyond, it reached a breaking point with the Green New Scam, open borders for everyone. They poured in by the millions and millions from prisons, from mental institutions. They were murderers, 11,888 murders. They came into our country. You allowed that to happen. And record-setting inflation that cost the typical family $34,000 in just a speck of time. Now the same people in this chamber who voted for those disasters suddenly use the word affordability, a word they just used it. Somebody decades before I came along.
Next clip.
They gave it to them, knowing full well that they caused and created the increased prices that all of our citizens had to endure. You caused that problem. You caused that problem.
Thank you, Chris, for subscribing and liking. Thank you.
Statements were a lie. They knew their statements were a dirty, rotten lie. Their policies created the high prices. Our policies are rapidly ending them. We are doing really well. Those prices are plummeting downward. The price of eggs is down 60%. They gave it to them, knowing full well that they caused and created the increased prices that all of our citizens had to endure. You caused that problem. You caused that problem. statements were a lie. They knew it. They knew their statements were a dirty, rotten lie. Their policies created the high prices. Our policies are rapidly ending them. We are doing really well. Those prices are plummeting downward.
Next clip.
Madam Secretary, thank you. The cost of chicken, butter, fruit, hotels, automobiles, rent is lower today than when I took office by a lot. And even beef, which was very high, is starting to come down significantly. Just hold on a little while. We're getting it down. And soon you will see numbers that few people would think were possible to achieve just a short time ago. Nobody can believe when they see the kind of numbers, and especially energy, when they see energy going down to numbers like that, they cannot believe it. It's like another big tax cut. I'm also confronting one of the biggest ripoffs of our times, the crushing cost of health care caused by you. Since the passage of... Madam Secretary, thank you. The cost of chicken, butter, fruit, hotels, automobiles, rent is lower today than when I took office by a lot. And even beef, which was very high, is starting to come down significantly. Just hold on a little while. We're getting it down. And soon you will see numbers that few people would think were possible to achieve just a short time ago. Nobody can believe when they see the kind of numbers, and especially energy, when they see energy going down to numbers like that, they cannot believe it. It's like another big tax cut. I'm also confronting one of the biggest ripoffs of our times, the crushing cost of health care caused by you. Since the passage of... Madam Secretary, thank you.
So do y'all want me to play those again or move on? Press 1 if you want me to play those again. Press 2 if you want me to move on with the news in regards to the State of the Union. Press 1, you want me to start over? Yeah, impeach. I mean, I'm trying to figure out the files. Press 1 to play it again. Press 2 to move on. Okay, we're going to move on. Like the video?
Tonight, maybe 2.5. I mean, we have like entire carrier troops there. It's possible that if things go awry, we're going to start a war with Iran.
And to the extent that he articulated a justification for what we're doing there, it was as much about our concerns about the Iranian government's mistreatment of their own people than it was about the nuclear program or any other thing. I mean, it was a mention of the nuclear program, a mention of sponsors of terrorism, and then just as much, if not more, about how much they are mistreating their own people, as if that's Donald Trump's reasoning for how he approaches the rest of the world. It was really, to me, it seemed strange.
And also, yes, internally incoherent and inconsistent. I mean, particularly in the same speech in which he said, like, our great new partner, Venezuela, they've given us $80 million a war. It's like, wait a second, it's the same government. It's just has a different guy. It's like, now they're our great new partner.
He called out Delcy Rodriguez, too.
Like the video, like the video. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Let's continue with the news. Fair use in regards to how people feel about yesterday.
Yeah, well, why don't we go around and give our initial thoughts before we dig into it? I will say there are a couple things that I thought were extraordinary in other State of the Unions, unless they were Donald Trump's. The first, of course, was just the unrelenting bigotry, the lies, the attacking of one group specifically, the Somalis, Somali Americans. That's the sort of thing that, I'm not going to talk about fascism or Nazism. You just read history and see what type of regimes will pick one or two groups and blame all of America's ills on those groups. That's one of the things that the president did. Another thing that he did was just generally talking about immigration. Again, it's un-American. It goes against what the Republican Party has always stood for. It's gone against what Ronald Reagan stood for. And this continued lie, and it is a continued lie by this Republican Party, and they know they're lying when they continue to suggest that immigrants commit crimes at a higher rate than those who are...
There's about 127 in the building. Please hit the subscribe button. We're trying to hit 50K by next month. We're about 3,000 to 4,000 away. Please hit subscribe and thank you. Let's continue. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a fabulous, great morning with peace and love. Let's continue.
Native-born Americans. And we study one study after another study shows this is a tired lie. And yet you have an entire party that seems in large part to be based upon this lie. Speaking of lies, it's not even a fact check. It's just a straight out lie because everybody knows watching, everybody knows speaking, everybody knows in the audience. They understand Donald Trump is lying when he's saying that the price of meat is going down, the price of groceries are going down. They know he's lying when he says that he inherited inflation at 9%. No, he inherited inflation at about the same rate that it's at right now when Joe Biden left office. It's about the same as where it was there. Also, the idea that you're going to have J.D. Vance who's going to investigate waste and fraud and abuse and corruption when his family, Donald Trump's family, has made at least $1.9 to $2 trillion personally since he came into office. And this whole idea about no stock trading, add up all the money. And by the way, I've always been against members of Congress trading stock. That's absolutely insane. But even add up right now all the money that they've made, it doesn't come close to the amount of money that Donald Trump has made himself personally, put in his own pocket over the past year. So you see that, you go, well, that's kind of interesting. And Willie, I've got to say also, the election conspiracies, he continues it. It's one thing for him to be doing it out on the campaign trail, lying day in, day out, lying day in and day out about election conspiracies. There's no way Democrats can win without this cheating. He says it all the time. He said it in Georgia all the time. You've got a Republican governor in Georgia that said, no, that's not right. You've got a Secretary of State in Georgia, Republican says, no, that's not right. The same one that Donald Trump tried to cheat and get the 11,000 votes to win Georgia back in 2020. He keeps saying that every day, and every day Democrats are winning by 30, 40, 50, 60 percentage points in races across America. We saw it again last night while this was going on. So yeah, there was a broadcaster that said that speech was extraordinary. Yes, it was extraordinary. It was extraordinary for many reasons. Most of them just, he did shit that no sane president would ever do. It was really, really crazy to be watching that in a State of the Union address.
Yeah, and it was long, too. The longest State of the Union in American history. At 1 hour, 47 minutes, almost 2 hours long. Broke his own record, by the way. The election lies, it's a tick that he can't get past. We heard it in the clip coming in when he said it again. This should have been my third term, he said, suggesting that somehow the 2020 election was stolen. It does strike you watching that address in the House chamber. That's the same House of Chamber where his supporters stormed and attacked and occupied on January 6, 2021. And he since has pardoned all of those people and tried to turn the page and whitewash history on that event. The Somali attacks, he called Somalis living in Minnesota, quote, Somali pirates who have ransacked Minnesota, talking about Somalis and Somali Americans living in the state of Minnesota. Also just leaning into his weaknesses, talking about the economy, on which he is very, very unpopular right now, saying the economy is at all-time highs, as if just saying it makes it so. We know that's not true. We're going to walk through the details of what he was fabricating in that speech last night. Also talking and celebrating about his immigration crackdown. Deeply, deeply unpopular in this country right now, including among many Republicans and certainly among independents, suggesting that it had been a success. And then for me, Joe, on the question of tariffs as well, didn't have that confrontational moment with the Supreme Court justices who were sitting there on the front row. He did criticize the decision without going so far as to ripping the Supreme Court as he has in the past several days. But interesting that as he said, I don't need Congress to do tariffs. I'll do it on my own. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, leapt to his feet in applause to support the idea that the President of the United States does not need Congress, perhaps not just on tariffs, but on anything anymore.
Yeah, Mike Johnson getting weaker by the day. It's like the final Harry Potter. He just kind of keeps shriveling up. It's getting sadder and sadder. If you listen to the words that he said, I will say it's very interesting. David French, I saw. There are a lot of people saying, oh, they're going to attack the Supreme Court. He's going to attack the members of the Supreme Court. Were there. I saw Amy Coney Barrett, and I looked at Amy Coney Barrett while he was speaking, and I thought, that's a woman I probably wouldn't cross.
Yeah.
she's
serious about what she does.
She's tough, and she's serious about what she does, as are the other members of the Supreme Court. But it's interesting, he chose not to attack them, chose to be polite. It was very interesting a week after he said that they were owned by foreign interests.
Yeah, that was interesting. And look, these Supreme Court justices, as you indicate, they're fine. They can handle it. They can take this. And you know what demonstrates that more than anything is their actual opinions. I mean, one thing that is so important about the tariff case, I don't think has gotten enough attention, quite frankly, is that this was an opinion with 3 justices nominated by Republicans, including by Donald Trump, 3 justices nominated by Democrats. So it's not a partisan kind of issue. And it demonstrated that there's a branch of American government that will show independence, and there's a branch of American government that will retain principles when most people are just devolving to worshiping power. And I think that was a really important moment for the American people to see that this is what an actually independent branch of government looks like. And if they can do that, they can absolutely handle whatever Trump was going to throw at them there in that room. And, you know, I'm actually glad it wasn't as intensely personal and vicious and biting as it was before. But I think they walked into that room knowing it could be.
At its most simplest level, last night was President Trump's biggest audience he will see all year. National audience, millions of people watched. And he came into last night reeling. We went through the polls in great detail yesterday about how his approval rating has slipped. Overall, it slipped among independents. He's grown very weak in what used to be his strengths, the economy, tariffs. I can't imagine he changed a single mind last night. I can't imagine he won over a single voter last night. And that's bad for the Republicans who will be on the ballot this November, who have to defend his policies. You know, we went through some of it already, the mild attacks on the Supreme Court, all the same, a lot of blistering attacks at Democrats, the racist remarks, it seemed, about the Somalis in Minnesota. We also got next to nothing about Iran. He's saying, yes, they can't have nukes, but otherwise just said, would like to make a deal. But it was 2 or 3 minutes right at the end of a nearly 2-hour speech where the whole world is watching this armada in the Middle East, wondering what will happen next with Tehran if this next round of negotiations does not produce a deal to President Trump's liking. And I was also...
Please hit the subscribe button and the like button. Let's get the likes over to 100. The like should match the views. To hit the like button is free. To hit the subscribe button is free. Super chats are welcome, but to hit the like and subscribe is free. Please do so. We're trying to hit 50K. Thanks for being here. Good morning, everyone.
Just struck, frankly, pretty boring. Yes, it had a couple nice moments of patriotism. He saluted the men's hockey team. He singled out a few Americans absolutely who deserve to be recognized for their heroism at home or abroad. But it felt like a campaign speech. It felt like more of the same, Ed Luce. Like, yes, he was loud. Yes, he, was animated.
2 certainties in life: death and taxes.
Like the video, fair use reaction clip. Thanks for being here, everyone. If you watched the whole State of the Union address, press 1. If you did not watch it, press 2. If you watched it, press 1. If you did not watch it, press 2. What were some things that you liked that he said? If you're just now coming in, we just played a lot of these clips. If you need to hear them again, I'll play them again.
Everybody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy. Amazing. Incredible. Boy, oh boy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we? Nobody stands up. These people leave. So tonight I'm inviting every legislator to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
Remember, they had clapped for a while. Next clip.
You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
I just saw a clip about Bondi this morning. I might have to put that in my members only for tonight. I just saw a clip in regards to Pam Bondi. I might have to put that in my members only. Subscribe, hit the membership button, y'all. I be seeing stuff and it's like, wow, that makes sense. Hit the subscribe button, hit the membership button, y'all.
Most importantly, I'm I'm asking you to approve the Save America Act. And perhaps most importantly, I'm asking you to approve the Save. Decades before I came along, we had the exact opposite. From trade to healthcare, from energy to immigration, everything was stolen and rigged in order to drain the wealth out of the productive, hardworking people who make the country great, who make our country run. Under Biden and his corrupt partners in Congress and beyond, it reached a breaking point with the Green New Scam, open borders for everyone. They poured in by the millions and millions from prisons, from mental institutions. They were murderers, 11,888 murders. They came into our country. You allowed that to happen. And record-setting inflation that cost the typical family $34,000 in just a speck of time. Now the same people in this chamber who voted for those disasters suddenly used the word affordability, a word they just used it. Somebody decades before I came along.
Yes, definitely a distraction from the files. More information came out regarding that. So concerning. And the pictures, the videos, so concerning. Let's continue.
To them, knowing full well that they caused and created the increased prices that all of our citizens had to endure. You caused that problem. You caused that problem.
So that's why a lot of them are just looking at him like that. Because they know what's in those files.
They knew their statements were a lie. They knew it. They knew their statements were a dirty, rotten lie. Their policies created the high prices. Our policies are rapidly ending them. We are doing really well. Those prices are plummeting downward. The price of eggs is down 60%. They gave it to them, knowing full well that they... Madam Secretary, thank you. The cost of chicken, butter, fruit, hotels, automobiles, rent is lower today than when I took office by a lot. And even beef, which was very high, is starting to come down significantly. Just hold on a little while. We're getting it down. And soon you will see numbers that few people would think were possible to achieve just a short time ago. Nobody can believe when they see the kind of numbers, and especially energy, when they see energy going down to numbers like that, they cannot believe it. It's like another big tax cut. I'm also confronting one of the biggest ripoffs of our times, the crushing cost of health care caused by you. Since the passage of... Madam Secretary, thank you. The cost of chicken, butter, fruit, hotels, automobiles, rent is lower today than when I took office by a lot. And even beef, which was very high, is starting to come down significantly.
Yeah, he's in those files alleged a lot. The last statements that came out this week, so concerning. I'm surprised they haven't been able to remove him yet, y'all. I'm just saying. What the heck? How could what's being alleged, how could he still be running the country? Former Prince Andrew was removed from his home and arrested on his 666 birthday. Many people were like, they're not surprised. They needed to do something. They're making it in regards to trade secrets or whatever. Like the videos you guys come in. Sometimes it goes blurry. I just have to clear it. Okay, so let's continue with the news. Fair use reaction clip. Mentioned too many times. It's sad. I don't get why people are not. That's why they're sitting.
It could be.
Level. Last night was President Trump's biggest audience he will see all year. National audience, millions of people watched. And he came into last night reeling. We went through the polls in great detail yesterday about how his approval rating has slipped. Overall, it slipped among independents. He's grown very weak in what used to be his strengths, the economy, tariffs. I can't imagine he changed a...
Yeah, it was for classified info. It should have been for the other stuff. Have y'all seen some of these videos? Have y'all seen some of these pictures? It's so concerning. I guess they're saying the Maxwell thing is fake. I think they're saying that Maxwell picture or her being wherever, I think they're saying that's AI generated. I don't know if that Maxwell thing is true or false. But she does look different though. Let's continue fair use reaction clip.
Mind last night. I can't imagine he won over a single voter last night. And that's bad for the Republicans who will be on the ballot this November, who have to defend his policies. You know, we went through some of it already, the mild attacks on the Supreme Court, all the same, a lot of blistering attacks at Democrats, the racist remarks, it seemed, about the Somalis in Minnesota. We also got next to nothing about Iran. He's saying, yes, they can't have nukes, but otherwise just said, would like to make a deal. But it was 2 or 3 minutes right at the end of a nearly 2-hour speech where the whole world is watching this armada in the Middle East, wondering what will happen next with Tehran if this next round of negotiations does not produce a deal to President Trump's liking. And I was also just struck, frankly, pretty boring. Yes, it had a couple nice moments of patriotism. He saluted the men's hockey team. He singled out a few Americans absolutely who deserve to be recognized for their heroism at home or abroad. But it felt like a campaign speech. It felt like more of the same, Ed Luce. Like, yes, he was loud. Yes, he...
Like the video, like the video. Let me see if there was another picture. I think he even had Erica Kirk stand up. Like the video, like the video.
Enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords.
Like the video, like the video. I guess Piers Morgan is interviewing Jeffrey Epstein's brother. He's been talking for a while. That's interesting. Might do a short on that. Like the video, like the video. This is him walking in. Basically, this man said black people are not, you know, what he said. Like the video, like the video. And I do believe he had thanked Erica Kirk in the audience. All right, I'm gonna go back to the original picture. But like the video, sometimes I'll cover things because sometimes I got to be careful with Instagram. But like the video, yeah, that's me. I blacked it out. I blacked it out. Hold on. Okay, we're right back to where we were. Like the video, fair use reaction clip.
You know, was animated.
Don't forget, please hit the subscribe button. We have 123 in the building. The likes should match the views. We probably had about 3,000 people in here. Please get the likes up, everyone, and thank you. Let's get the likes over 100. Please hit subscribe. 40 people to hit the thumbs up. Double tap the screen. If you're watching from a phone or a tablet, press 1. All it takes is a double tap or thumbs up the video, below the video, or above the video.
I don't know, though, Ed, that it's going to change the trajectory of his presidency one bit. I'm curious, your thoughts?
Jonathan, I had a lot of favorite moments in this speech, but I strongly agree with your comment on it being boring. Not just the length, the hour, 47 minutes, but the predictability of the lies he was telling and the stunts.
I told y'all it was going to be some of the same stuff he's been saying. I told y'all that.
There were so many lies that at one point I thought, should we fact check, whether the men's hockey team really did win a gold? Because it was just sort of a flood the zone with it. Amongst my favorite moments, but I don't think, this is effective campaigning, although it is campaigning, was him rolling the word affordability around in his mouth as if it's some very strange word that the Democrats have just learned and that it isn't really a serious issue at all. I imagine Susie Wiles and others were gnashing their teeth as they watched that, because this was clearly supposed to be, at least in part, a speech that set up Republicans for the midterms as serious on questions of affordability. And he didn't really do that. He told Americans that their prices are all falling, don't believe your own lying eyes, etc. He at one point said that drugs prices have dropped 100%, which would mean they're now zero. So I can't get excited about this speech, but I guess the fact that we're so used to these torrents of lies and the whoppingness of these lies, and that it's actually boring, does say something about us and about this president.
Yeah, it's interesting. I forget the character, the movie character that couldn't say, I was wrong, but it would just kind of tumble around in his mouth, couldn't get it out. Here, the president can't say the word affordability, where it comes out And this is what politics is. You give a 2-hour speech, a 3-hour speech, 4-hour speech. It's going to be reduced down to a couple of seconds in campaign ads. And for Donald Trump, the ongoing problem is that most Americans say the number one problem in America is not immigrants. Number one problem in America are not all the things that he said were number one problems in America. In fact, they wildly disagree with him on election integrity and so many of these other issues. But it is affordability, and he just sort of tossed it aside and once again mocked the use of the word. So that was one problem. I got to say the bigger takeaway though here, and it's really unfortunate, and it's unfortunate for America. I think it's unfortunate for the president too. He still thinks he can do this by himself.
Okay, you guys, copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships and research. Fair use is used permitted by a copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. I just wanted to do a general update of what happened last night. I might go live again 12 or 1 or 2. I have some things I have to take care of, but thanks for being here. There's about 89 people in the building. Please hit the subscribe button. We're trying to hit 50K. I think we're 3,000 or 4,000 away from hitting 50K. Thanks for being here, everyone. Have a great morning. Happy Wednesday. Goodbye.